All right, good morning. Jan, Twantis, Jan, you guys know each other, right?
Hi, Jan.
No, actually, we don't. I don't think we've ever met, have we?
We haven't. We haven't met.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was in the
Well,
office yesterday, and it's like, it's so sad and lonely when I go in there because there's just nobody there, and you just don't get to meet all.
it's like the
Yeah.
skeleton crew. How can we get outside of like these Zooms, like how can we get people how can we get people together, you think? We are doing that thing next week. Like the outside parking lot um food truck thing for Mega Camp. I really wish there was a way. Maybe I'll talk to the guys today about it. Is getting like the top performers together. Like we've brought in a lot of top performers in the last couple months, and they don't hardly know each other. Like how can we get them all in one room and get them to tell their stories and share ideas and stuff?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I did call Jan because I know Jan works with a lot of investors like I do too on some stuff. So, I know she's a wealth of knowledge.
That's right. That's right. Well, just to remind you guys, the purpose of this mastermind obviously is to hear what you guys are experiencing out in the marketplace, right? The real meaning of a mastermind is that the masters get together and then share what they're working on, right?
Right.
Share what they're doing well, share what they're struggling with, share ideas. And then when you leave the mastermind, you get a whole different perspective. Sometimes we go through life and we have plenty of blind spots and we're not really seeing an alternative way to approach the situations that we might be in or something similar that we might be in. So having a group like this together to share ideas, particularly with investors, you guys that might be a good content for today. What are we experiencing? What are we enjoying? What are we not enjoying? How are we spending money well? How are we spending money poorly? I'm essentially just here to kind of facilitate things along. I can teach, I can coach, I can facilitate, I can do it all, but I want it to be as valuable as possible for you guys. So, Jan, what are you hoping to learn today?
She must have stepped away. I have a request if
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
not.
absolutely.
But I really would love to get both of you guys feedback on what you think on this, right?
Okay.
So I went to a listing appointment last Friday, right? Went
Okay.
to a listing appointment, which actually went great. It just, when I say went great, I didn't get the listing, but I went to a home of an 85-year-old woman, right?
Okay.
So she's 85 years old. Her son is there, and he's pretty much kind of, orchestrating up most of the conversations, telling her that, hey, mom, you need to go. You've been in this house over 50 years. It's time for us to go, right? The mom is hesitant, of course, because I think I just watched someone do a seminar and they were talking about also, working with elderly could be sensitive because that's all she knows at this point, right?
Exactly.
So she doesn't want to list as well with the fact of COVID and everybody coming in and out of the house, which is understood. So
Yep.
I gave her a position, and that position was the house is in great shape. I know it's going to sell, but I have an investor who literally is ready to get it, right? So
Okay.
my whole thing is that, okay, I have an offer for you. And the son is like, okay, you bring us this offer. If she says so, we're going to go for it. My
Okay.
issue is that over the weekend, I sent them a contract. The contract was sent to them, right? But
A
every
listing
time I
contract,
call,
right? A listing
huh?
contract?
No, they don't want to list. Remember, they just want to get a cash offer, and I made it where they would not have to worry about people coming in and out of the house. I
Oh,
got
I'm
a
sorry.
cash
So,
buyer for you.
so,
Uh-huh.
so who do you represent? You represent the buyer?
Well, I went to this particular listing appointment, looking to represent the seller, of course, right? That's what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
went
of
there
course.
for. But in the midst of that, because of her oppositions toward listings with COVID and all that other stuff, people running through the house, I gave her another solution that would be easier for them, which is to automatically have a cash buyer,
Yeah, I
right?
follow that. Yep.
Yeah. So what I would do if I were doing to make the contract, the buyer is just going to be a customer for me. So just an FYI, right?
So really, both people are customers.
Well, she could be too. I mean, if we look at it that way as well, I think it wouldn't make a difference because I don't have that agreement with her to be her listing agent per se, right? So
Okay.
that's fine. But my issue though is this, Bill. This is my issue. I've tried to call them, and every time I've called them since we left, Sent them the offer like I told them. Everything I told them I was going to do, you guys, it was done, right? From
Yep.
Saturday. I said, I'm going to follow up. I'm going to send you a contract. We're going to go from here. And then I'll put the closing date out a month after. So you have time, you know, because I know she was hesitant about that too. Like, I don't have time. But the son was more so like, hey, I'll find you somewhere, da, da, da. My issue is I've called her 3 days in a row, right?
Yep.
And the son is not available. Now, I sent the email to him. He still hasn't opened it. And the mom, on the other hand, every time I call now, he's not there. And he really is the one who's actually going to be making sure she knows everything, right?
Okay.
So I don't want to feel like I'm pressing too much. You know how you keep calling people and you're like, okay, well, I don't want to feel like I keep kind of.
I'm very familiar with this concept.
Yes, I hate to feel like I'm over pressing people, right? Because if you want to move, I have the solution for you, like you said, exactly like you said, same terms, everything. But I
Yep.
don't want to feel like I'm having to keep chasing you or something. So tell me, for whatever y'all could give me as an approach to this, so I can kind of be at ease with it. Either way.
Okay, good question. Jen, do you want to start? Did you hear that? Okay, I hope she's okay. Let me give you my thoughts. So, is the offer what the seller wanted, or is it below? Is it a good bit below market value?
No, it's exactly what they asked for. Exactly.
Oh, perfect. So, they're probably having like they're it's like they go through 50 years of being in this home, and they're just living their life, and then all of a sudden they meet this random woman who says, yeah, we could list the home, and the
Yeah.
wife and the mother struggling to like get grips around the fact that she would move, and that kind of thing. And then within 10 hours she got a cash offer, exactly what she wants. It's kind of like you get what you wish for, and then you freak out about it. She's probably a little shell shocked, to be honest. Where is she going to move to?
Right. Well, the
No,
son is
that's a
actually,
little
they're in
different
Dallas. So this is in Mableton, right? The house is in Mableton.
Okay. So the house is in Mableton. Did I miss something? Where is she going to move to?
Oh,
Can you hear me?
yo, Dallas.
She's moving to
She's
Dallas,
gonna go to
Georgia?
Dallas, and then they're gonna get her.
Dallas, Georgia, or
Dallas,
Dallas,
Georgia.
Texas?
It's probably like about Georgia, like about 45 minutes out. She's just gonna be closer to the son and their family over there, because she's so, at this
Yeah,
point in life.
is she going to buy a home, or is she going to rent something, or move in with the family? What's that plan?
No, the son has already identified where they're going to have her. She's going to initially go with him, and then they're going to have he said what he called the most elegant room for her at this assisted living that's close to the house. So he's like, it's great. She can be with people. And then, he did the whole layout for me. Mom, you could go here. You don't have to worry about half paying your bills. You're going to, net about $100,000, and her other pension she's getting from the husband who passed away a while ago. So he has the whole layout. She was there and they told it all to me, but she's kind of, yeah.
That's probably exactly
She's
what's
running.
happening. It's probably exactly what's happening. Is she's
Yeah.
trying to figure out, like, all this thing that's kind of been like ethereal for a little while finally has some legs, and like it's ready to be executed.
Right.
Honestly, I think do you have a relationship with the son?
No, I don't know them at all. That was my first time having a conversation with the both of them in person. It was about an hour, and they were very forthcoming with everything, but I don't know him well enough to keep calling him, in a sense, right?
Okay. So how many times when you say you've called 3 days in a row, who you've been calling, the son or the mother?
The mom. I've called their main number, because he goes there and he's with her a lot. He attends to her a lot here and stays a couple of days, does all her yard and that kind of stuff too, to just keep her up.
So what I would do is probably say, yeah, I'm sure you guys are, just getting resettled from a long weekend. We're here to answer any questions. Not were that makes it seem like you're not on her side. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have about this contract. I'm sure that you know, a ton of things are going through your mind. So I'm happy to debrief with you. Just please let me know how I can help. Um,
Okay.
and then I'd go focus on some other clients for a few days.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, literally, you're in alignment already with what I was thinking of, like saying, like, hey, I just need to give them some days to focus on that and not seem like I'm pressing. I don't like to feel like I'm pressing anybody. You know, it makes me
Yeah,
feel
it's like
uncomfortable.
sometimes
Yeah.
I have to remind myself about this like a couple of times a day usually, because I'm a
Mm-hmm.
pretty aggressive person. Like if you're
Yeah.
pushing, if you're pushing, it's like what you're trying to do isn't it like loses its authenticism, if that makes sense. It's like,
Yes.
and I mean, we've known each other long enough, and Jan and I have known each other for years. Like, I like to believe I'm a pretty authentic guy, but I'm also
Mm-hmm.
the kind of guy that like, this is just the way my brain works. When I'm presented with something that makes sense and it's a
Mm-hmm.
better alternative to what I'm currently experiencing, I can make my
Right.
decision and then move on. Right.
Right.
And so when I present things like, hey, do you want to be in PC? Or hey, do you want to come to Keller Williams? Or hey, do you want to sign the thing that you said you wanted? Like sometimes I can see that very black and white and say like, well, duh, just sign the shit and let's get on with life, right?
Right.
Um, but but it doesn't really work like that, right? So I have to remind myself sometimes, like, I have to have a pipeline that's so big because if my pipeline,
Yep.
and I just know my personality, like, if my pipeline isn't big enough, I will bother the shit out of everyone,
Right. Right.
right? And so I have to
Right.
have like a pipeline that's so big
Right.
that like I have to remind myself to call the people that I'm trying to pursue aggressively because
Mhm.
I'm like a flirt. I'm everywhere. And I
Right.
have to be everywhere to keep my brain calm, right?
Right.
I know that sounds insane, but like the better you understand your tendencies, the more you'll be able to react to them, right? And
Right.
prepare your mind and your body for them. Um, I mean, I know that sounds insane, but like I can specifically remember my first couple of weeks. Like, okay, this is the week after my very first open house. I did an open house in a little condo in Buckhead. Okay, first open
Uh-huh.
house ever. I go into the office the week after. I think I had 3 or 4 people that came to the open house. Okay, and so I wrote all of their names on like a separate sheet of paper, and I thought they were all going to be like my clients, you know. And
Uh-huh.
it was awesome. And I called them and I'm like, so you ready to do something? You know, like, you ready to go look at some homes? Like, what's going on? Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we're going to like think about it for a little while or whatever. I said, okay, cool. So I wrote the note. Okay, they're going to think about it for a little while. And I came to the office the next day and I still only had 4 people to call. And I'm like, well, shit, I may as well call these people again. I was like, they had a whole day to think. Like, what do they got to think about? Right. You came to the open house because you were curious about this type of property. Let's go buy one. Come on. Right. And then I called them
Right.
again, and they're like, "Wait, we told you we have to think about it." And I'm like, "Yeah, so what? Did you think yesterday?"
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
Right?
my
And it took me a long
God.
time
I'm
to
with you.
realize that. It took me a long time to realize that, like, thinking about it means more than like 20 minutes. Right? I'm like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you want to meet me at 2 o'clock?" They're like, "I'll think about it." I'm like, "All right, can I call you in 2 minutes? Like, when are we gonna done thinking about this?"
Right.
And
Oh my
so, like,
God. That is so fun.
I have I have a lot of ADD mixed with a little bit of, you know, a tiny bit of anxiety mixed with a little bit of impatience, right? I mean,
Oh my God. This what you're describing me.
I know that's why we all find real
I'm,
estate.
I'm like, oh my God. Well, who takes this long to think? Come on.
I know. So you basically the response to this type of situation is
Uh-huh.
the response to almost every situation in real estate, which
Okay.
is if I had more leads, this wouldn't be such a big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I'm with
I
you.
mean,
Yeah.
and then it got to the point where like I would get to like I would show, let's say, 2 or 3 homes on in an evening, right? I'd go out at 6 o'clock and I'd show a couple of homes, And I know this sounds insane, but there was plenty of nights where went and did that. And I said to myself, God, I really hope they don't like any of these. Like, I want to show the homes because it's like part of the job or whatever. Yet I don't really want to spend the next 4 hours writing up a contract right now.
Uh-huh.
Right? Like, I want to hang out with my wife and my kids tonight. So I really hope they don't want to write this up. And at that moment, I'm like, okay, I need help. This is not the right attitude I should be having.
Right.
And in fact, that's the opposite of what I just described, which is I hope that these people who are probably going to make a slow decision make an even slower decision so that I can have a little peace and quiet. Right. So it's kind of like the trick to it all is to go get more leads. And then when you wake up one day and you say, I'm smothered, then you go get more people to help you with the more leads.
Okay.
And then when the two of you guys go and create so much opportunity together that you can't handle it and maintain the quality of life that you're seeking, then you go get somebody else. I mean, it's all more leads and growth.
I love it.
Right? And then every time that you grow,
right,
you remove a handful of tasks that you didn't even enjoy in the first place, that you're stubbornly holding on to because you think that's what we're supposed to do because somebody told you that didn't know how to run a business.
Right. Right.
I mean, that solves every issue is more leads. You got a client that doesn't listen to what you say, doesn't return your phone calls, makes fun of, people of different races. Okay, if that's your one client, then you're going to put up with it. If you don't want to put up with it, then go get another client.
That's right.
Right? So I say all that to say, hey, it sounds like you got a great little situation here.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so good for you. Don't let that go. But like, you got to remind yourself in your head, hey, I don't behave like the average person behaves, and that's okay. Because I'm a hell of a lot more successful than the average person, right? And so these are like characteristics of somebody with my level of accomplishment, and it's only going to get more impressive. So I basically have to say, I'm going to go court somebody else for a little while, and then drip on you periodically, right? Because you might then go to the other side, say, hey, I'm sure you guys are, pretty overwhelmed. It's not often that you get exactly what you're looking for in this market. Is there anything I can do? Let's just pause on the sale for a second. Is there anything I can do to help facilitate the move? Because I know with a lot of my clients, sometimes the sale is the easy part. The move is the hard part. Do you need connections with vendors? Like, do you need a moving company? Do you need do you need somebody to paint that most elegant room in your house? Like, is there anything I can do to connect you with the right person to deal with that project? Right. Yeah, I mean, literally I have to remind myself this like all day, every day. Like, cool it down, Bill. They've only been thinking about it for 2 minutes. Like,
right. And this is so funny because, Bill, I so appreciate this. See, this is why, again, I told you I needed to have like a coach, right?
Yeah.
Just what you explained is so my thoughts though, because I can be impatient sometimes. I can be aggressive with certain things sometimes. And I'm just saying to myself, what takes so long? Okay. And I put too much focus on someone that I need to just go ahead and say, let me not change my energy by diverting and thinking about this. I need to just go and focus on all the other things I could be doing and manage that better. So now I'm not stuck feeling like, oh, okay, I need this person to make this right so I can go on to the next task, like type scenario, right?
That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, that's just like, I can't, sometimes when we're building something that we've not really been where we are, right? In this exact kind of scenario, you have this hunch that what you're doing feels right, but sometimes you just need validation to say like, am I crazy here? Like I for the last handful of years, maybe 5-6 years or so, as I was becoming, accomplishing more stuff, I always had multiple people that I could run to and say, hey, Andy, am I like crazy here? Can I run this idea off of you? Hey, Aubrey, am I crazy here? Can I run this idea off of you? And that's what I mean, that, like, I saw you post the other day, I think you posted, like, I don't want to hang out with anyone that's not a big thinker anymore, right? Like, that
Yeah.
is, that's what we do. We're what's the phrase? It's like, small-minded people talk about people, like
Right.
normal people talk about things, and
Right.
high-minded people talk about ideas,
That's exactly it.
right?
That's it. Yeah.
And like, we can find ourselves, like, if we've assigned a project to, like, somebody, hey, go talk to the lender and find out how much this home's going to cost you monthly so we can know whether we want to move forward or not. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking in my mind, okay, that's a 5-minute conversation. Just get to work, right? I'm going to go to the bathroom. You
Right.
call me and tell me if we're buying this home or not, right? But what I have to
Mm-hmm.
remember is, and if they don't, by the way, then I'm like, what's wrong with that guy? So I start going to the, I'm going to talk about people idea. But if
Right.
I'm focused on the big picture, which is, I'm like the biggest flirt in town. I'm flirting with
Uh-huh.
you. I'll drop you a little knowledge. Hey, let's check in here. Let's laugh about something over there. Let's go to a meeting together here. And then eventually, it's kind of like, I hate to say it this way. I really hate to say it this way, but one of my mentors told me this. He says, this is with respect to recruiting, but it can be applied across the board. He said, if you want to get into a relationship with somebody who's already in a relationship, what do? He says, you don't go in there and tell them how bad their broker is or their boyfriend is. You're a nice guy.
Yeah.
And when your boyfriend or your girlfriend does something dumb, which they will do,
Mm-hmm.
you're there to sweep them off their feet.
Mm. You're listening and waiting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, they stiffed me on that commission. Wow. Really? Tell me more about that. You
Right.
know, it's, but it's authentic because I don't believe that anyone should be in that situation. I never got
Mhm.
screwed on a commission, and if I did, I would have been out the door.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That that we're becoming more. We're not becoming. We are more alike than I ever realized. That's cool.
Right.
All right, before I forget, I'd love to. I don't know if you've seen. I've done on maybe 6 or 7 of these interviews
Mm-hmm.
with some of the productivity coaching clients, that we just do like a 10-12 minute meeting, or not meeting, interview, where I just get to know you, and you tell the group who you are and that kind of stuff, and then ask you some questions about your business and how coaching's had a good impact on you and all that, and then we put it in the
Mm-hmm.
newsletter. Can I get you to agree to do that with me?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. Um,
Well, love to.
Probably need to do maybe like probably like a 15-minute slot or so. Let me look at my calendar to see when I could pull that off. I'm going to make a note to give you a call today. I'm trying to place 1 or 2 people in
Okay.
before Mega Camp. But thank you for agreeing to do that. I want to make sure we get some of your ideas across. I think they're really important. Um, and you are going to Mega Camp, right?
I sure am. I am
Okay.
excited.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're gonna, if you love KW now and you love just the big thinking, when somebody let's say somebody in our market center, like Joanne Curtin and her team will sell probably 150 homes this year, right?
Uh-huh.
There are literally people selling thousands of homes, and they're sharing
Mm-hmm.
everything that they do. And they have like, they're not like burning the midnight oil. They're not working with buyers and sellers. They've created an organization that's full of a bunch of people that are respected and well loved and well paid and have great opportunity, and
Mm-hmm.
they're getting everything they want, right? Like, hey Kathy, one of the things that that Gary says is that you have to build an organization that allows everyone in your organization to have to grow at whatever pace they want to grow at and stay within your bubble, if you will, right? Gary, so somebody says, well, Gary, how big do you want this thing? He's like, I don't know. I'm willing to allow it to get as big as it needs to get so that all the talented people in my world can have what they want. Right?
Right.
Up until 2012, we were not an international company. In 2012, or probably a good bit prior to that, somebody came to him and says, I'd like to do something international. And he says, great, show me the plan. Right? Right? I'm all for it. If that's the opportunity you want, show me that it makes financial sense. We can do it. And Gary, I'm not 100% sure of this, but I'm pretty close to 100% sure in this. Gary doesn't own anything internationally. Those are opportunities that he's given to other people. Right? Meaning that he's not like, oh, let's go to Spain, and he writes a $5 million check and says, okay, I own Spain. Who wants to work for me? Right? It's not like that. It's, hey, you want to own Spain? Great. I'm all for you. I will, you got all the backing of Keller Williams Realty International. Now you go make it happen. Right? And you can have the reward and the, and you can have the lousy days and the awesome days. Right? Okay. Kathy, what knowledge would you like to impart on us as a growth mastermind before we move to the normal session?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm just really, I had staged 2 houses yesterday and photographed 1. I'm just really, really tired today. I can't
You're
even.
crushing it. 3 appointments, 3 listings signed. Good job.
Yeah, I've got staging another.
There's some motivating news. All right, I'm going to hit the stop record and then hit the record.